Welcome to the Department of Life Sciences podcast for Women at Imperial Week 2026. International Women's Day 2026 centres on the theme Give to Gain, the idea that progress happens when we intentionally give respect, voice, care, knowledge, opportunities, and resources to others. In a university community, that giving doesn't only apply in lecture theatres or laboratories. It happens in offices, technical spaces, meetings, emails, and everyday interactions that keep the system running. We're bringing together voices from across the Department of Life Sciences, from administration, technical teams, research, and teaching, to reflect on what giving has meant in their working lives and what we can all gain when equity and support are shared responsibilities.
In this episode, we are joined by Pam. Pam, could you tell us a little bit about your role at Imperial and maybe a fun fact or even a part of your role that you find most rewarding?
Okay, so hi Josh, and thank you for inviting me for this. Hi everyone, I'm Pam, and I am a senior teaching technician at Imperial in the Department for Life Sciences. So about my role, so my main responsibilities here are to support teaching, especially practical teachings in the lab. So all the practical classes for first year, second year, third year, not just by myself, of course, but with all my fellow teaching technicians. We ensure that the practicals are run smoothly. We prepare the reagents, we prepare the lab, we set up the lab, and as possible, we also have a presence in the lab to support students with questions or if they don't know how to use a certain piece of equipment, and to support the academic as well, sometimes tailoring the protocols for students or refining some experiments, optimizing experiments as well to ensure that the practicals will run correctly and that the experiments will work. As part of my role, specifically my role, I support my line manager in the management of the teaching facilities. So we have quite a few teaching facilities, labs, and prep rooms that we need to manage. So I also support my line manager with that. And I guess a fun fact, it's always fun to talk to students in the lab because there's always something that happens that makes you laugh a lot, or like gross mistakes by students that happens a lot, and sometimes they get very embarrassed by that and you go like, no, that's fine, let's just laugh about it because that's going to be a nice story to tell. I'm not sure if I can think about anything specific right now, but yeah, I think just the interaction with students is always the best part of the day and the job because you see some very absurdities happening in the lab when they don't have the right guidance.
So what motivated you to pursue a career as a teaching technician?
I don't think I ever thought this through, to be honest, thinking like, oh, I want to be a technician. It was something that it happened. So I'm originally from Brazil, and as soon as I finished my graduation, I graduated in biology back home. I started to work in a lab as a lab technician. So it was the opportunity that presented to me at the time. And I wanted to be involved in molecular biology, cell biology kind of work. So I started working as a technician, mainly to help this PhD student with her project. So I was literally hired to help this PhD student. And I think I just really enjoyed that. And then the opportunity came up for me to start a master's in the same lab. So it was in a teaching hospital back home in the Faculty of Medicine. So I started my master's in medical sciences, and I actually really, really, really enjoyed that because I was doing research, I was in the lab, I was interacting with patients in the hospital, collecting samples and writing my own project, but always involved with experiments in the lab. And then I moved to the UK in 2019, and then it hit me, I need a job. And because I have made a contact with a lecturer before my moving at the University of Bath, because I was moving straight to Bath, I sent her a message saying, hey, I'm here permanently now. Can we talk about opportunities? And I'm looking for a job, and these are all my qualifications. You know me from previous years when I came to visit. So can we just talk about it? And we actually applied for a PhD studentship together. We wrote a project, we applied for a grant, but we didn't get it. And then this opportunity to be a lab assistant came up at the University of Bath. And because I wanted to be in the lab, I thought, okay, I need to start somehow. So yeah, I will apply for that. And I got the job. And it was actually basically to clean the lab, do the glassware, clean the glassware. It was pretty much like bottom of the food chain kind of role. And some people told, like they were telling me, oh, Pamela, you have a master's degree. Like, really? You want to do this? And I go like, well, I have to start somewhere. Nobody knows me. I'm coming from a different country and this opportunity is here. So yes, I will do this. And then I start talking to other academics. I start getting more proactive in the lab and putting myself forward to do more things because I wanted to do more. And then another opportunity came, an internal position became available as a part-time research technician and part-time teaching technician. And then I applied for that. And because I have already made such like good contact and good impression with my line managers, they put word with the hiring team. And then I've got those positions. And I just kept going because it's such an interesting role to be in. Like I'm still learning quite a lot and learning all these different things. So right now I know a little bit, I mean, I'm not going to say like a lot, but enough of microbiology, of molecular biology. I can do cell culture, mammalian cell culture as well. So I have all this range of techniques that I've learned that I know and that I can support different labs, that it just makes everything so interesting because you're not focusing in one single subject. And I don't know, it's just, it was happening. And I see the opportunities and I just go for it. And even if I'm not 100% sure that I'm going to get it, I just try. And then they believe that I can do it. So they keep giving me the higher roles. So hopefully I'm already ready for the next one.
I think that's really inspiring because it kind of shows the sort of advisory and consultancy role that technicians can also provide within the research context. But it sounds like you've developed skills that now you can actually help academics develop new teaching exercises.
Well, to be honest, I just hope that they would ask more. I don't know. I'm just the way that we work here in Imperial, at least compared to other places. As a technician, I do feel that we are a little bit tight in our role. So we don't do much more than what is requested, which is basically providing consumables, setting up the lab, and make sure that the practical class is ready. Unless you are constantly asking, like, oh, can I please do this? Can you remind of me? Can you remember me when you are thinking about developing this? Can you give me this opportunity? Or just remember, I'm here. So if you're not constantly asking to do more, I feel that we can easily just fall within a situation where we are basically doing that, and they see us as the technicians that just provide consumables, basically. So it has to be a constant conversation, a constant request to do more and more and more and more. And not always the reward is coming, to be honest, but I think about this as a long-term plan.
So developing on from that a little bit, so this International Women's Day of 2026 is around this theme of give to gain. And I wondered, when you hear that theme, what does that mean to you?
I thought a little bit about this when I first saw your email and the context, that like the theme of the podcast. I think especially as teaching technicians, we give so much knowledge, we give so much new techniques and insights to students and academics and the whole department, really. I think give to gain, it would be to give our time, our knowledge, and our full attention to details in practicals, in experiments, and to help details, to help students to give back recognition and to give to gain back recognition, to gain more experience as well and more opportunities. So thinking on my day-to-day basis, I always think about the casual workers that I work with, Lucy and Beatrice. They desperately ask me to put them in the podcast and to make all about them. So that's what I'm doing now. Jokes apart, they work really well. They are really, really good technicians, and they are learning how to be technicians. One of them is literally on their first role as a technician, and the other one is a little bit more experienced but still learning. And I think every day I try to give them a little bit more chance to be independent, to gain some confidence by working by themselves, but also to not just throw them there, but to give them guidance on how to do things and give them the opportunity to ask questions and to actually get things wrong. And I feel that I gain back their trust. I gain back my own confidence in, oh, I can do this. I can be someone's mentor. I can be, someone's line manager. I can actually help someone to develop on their own career based on what I am giving them now in terms of opportunities and time and explanations and how to help them navigate the technical role that they are entering now.
And they're really, really nice examples. And I wondered, can you share a time when somebody has given support to you so it's made a real difference to where you are today?
Honestly, I cannot be more grateful to my former supervisors at the University of Bath. So especially Dr. Zoe Burke and Dr. Neil Brown. So they are both Director of Studies and Director of Teaching for the MSc in Biotech courses and medical biosciences and biotechnology master courses. They have given me so much support and independence and advice as well, and they are great mentors, and I don't think I would be where I am now in terms of career if they have not pushed me and if they have not agreed to all the craziness things that I wanted to do back on time. But they're always literally believing that I could do more. So every idea that I had, they would not just say yes, but they would, weigh the pros and cons with me and think like, yeah, no, perhaps I will give you a bit more guidance, but yeah, let's try this. I will let you try, and I will be forever grateful for the opportunities that they gave me there. And Dr. Francois as well, which was the academic that I first met when going to Bath, that basically gave me my first opportunity to enter the field. And when I was leaving to come to Imperial, they did try a lot to keep, they tried hard to keep me there. There were lots of negotiations on the table, but due to other circumstances, mainly related to visas and the government, I had to say goodbye and come here basically. But when I came here, I think everybody knows Alison Hunter. She gave me a lot of support as well. And even I think 2 weeks ago, I was having a meeting with her to express some of my concerns in terms of my workload and my actual role here and how I was feeling about it. And she was being so supportive, and she was constantly appraising my work and saying how good I'm doing, how well I'm doing. And the words that she used were just like overwhelming because it made me feel great about it. And so like, okay, so I am on the right path. I am doing it right. So I will be forever grateful, I think, for these people.
Great. I mean, that's really good to hear that you've got positive advocates within the department. And what are some of the ways that you try and give back to others?
I think mainly supervising and helping students as well. I always try to make students feel that they can ask the stupidest question. I always tell them, like, look, you can ask the most idiotic question ever, and there's no judgment. It's a safe place. You're here to learn. So I always feel that by doing this, students feel more comfortable about actually trying to learn and say, like, oh, I don't know this. Can you explain this to me? Or actually asking these stupid questions. But always trying to make them feel comfortable that way so they will take that in. I'm constantly trying to relieve a little bit of my colleagues' workload whenever I can, because I know that we are overworked. We are always overworked, like everyone else, I guess, in the college and in any role. But if I ever have a time, if there's something that I know how to do it and I see someone struggling with that, I will try and step up and say, can I help? Or do you need help? You can shadow me, I can show you how to do it. So it's just like little bits, little things throughout the day and the way that we work together here, that I'm just always trying to, teach something to someone, help someone. And in the end, we are all colleagues. We should work as a collaborative team. And same thing, if I don't know something, I will expect that someone will help me and make me feel okay to ask those questions and to say that I don't know. So yeah, I think it's always trying to make people feel comfortable around the workplace, around the lab, and with each other, and with their own limitations and with my own limitations.
Yeah, and are there mechanisms for these types of contributions to be recognized? Or how would you like to be recognized for these contributions?
That's a tricky question, actually, because especially, I think, especially on a technical role, we don't have a progression pathway. We have nowhere to go unless someone's retiring, unless a different role has become available in a different department or within our own department. So I think I can say, like on behalf of everyone, that we do need to be recognized on a way that we are working so much, we are contributing so much, that it should have a way for us to put this into paper and saying, oh, I have done all this year, I have contributed to this, I have stepped up to do this other thing, I have even gone like far and beyond, and more than just having an award. That we know we have awards at Imperial that recognize staff, and more than having a monetary award, a one-time award, it would be amazing if we could actually have a progression pathway that will recognize the efforts and the knowledge that we are acquiring every day by doing professional development courses, by actually talking to academics or talking to one another and teaching one another in the lab. So I think that would be the best way to be recognized for the work that we put in, but also to get a little bit of credit for the teaching that we do, especially when the National Student Survey comes into place, and then we go to the staff meeting, as I've been to some, and it's always like, oh, the academics are great. Thank you so much for all the academics involved in this. The students have said wonderful things about the classes and the practical classes and how much they've learned, and that's it. Like, that's it. It's all about the higher management. It's all about the academics. But what about the professional services, people that are actually putting so much effort for these things to happen, and they are just not mentioned at all, unless someone goes up front, usually Alison, that goes and say, well, let's praise the technical team, because, nothing would function and nothing would have happened without the technical team. So yeah, we don't need a one-off payment to say thank you, but I think we do need a little bit more, to be given a little bit more credit, and definitely review of our career progression pathways.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more on that. And I wonder, what advice would you give to a younger version of yourself?
I think I would tell myself to speak up earlier, or perhaps engage in conversations a little bit more, like have a voice a bit earlier. So I guess if I knew what I really wanted to do since the beginning, thinking, oh, I really want to be a technician, I would have perhaps engaged more in conversations about professional development, and where do I want to go, what's my career goal. But yeah, I think I would just, if I have to give myself, my younger self, an advice, is that speak up and say a little bit more, like what I was really thinking at the time. I have worked a lot. Like it wasn't easy. Nothing was just handled to me on a silver platter. And this is something that I keep telling people, like, it doesn't matter if you have been working here for 30 years. If you're just doing your job well done, is the bare minimum, really, what that's expected of you. So you have to do more. You have to ask for more. You have to show that you want to do that extra bit without complaining, without without thinking just on the final reward, if that comes, because very often it doesn't. So it's more than just, oh, I'm working for 30 years here and I deserve this. No, you have to actually deserve these things, but you have to work for that. So yeah.
But I think what you're saying is great, because, there's a motivational message there that is like, you have to speak up, you have to be proactive. Things aren't just going to come to you because you expect them. And it kind of leads me to my last question, which is a bit speculative. If the powers that be, whether that's in the department, faculty, Imperial, or even kind of the broader higher education context, are listening to this episode of the podcast, what's something that you would change, considering this theme of give to gain?
I would definitely change the way that our role is viewed within the department, if I could. career progression we desperately need. We see academics being promoted, we see the promotions being advertised, and we still don't have any of that. And to give the credit that we deserve for the work that we do in terms of students are happy we are the second best university in the world. And there's a reason for that. Research is the main reason, but we can do so much better in terms of teaching and the way that we deal with teaching in the department in practical classes, and the way that our technicians that support teaching are viewed by the department. So I would say just give us more credibility, give us more visibility and a pathway to progress, so we can actually have a north, and then we will know what we need to do to get there. And I can guarantee that people will work way happier and they will be way more willing to go that extra mile if that pathway exists.
I think that's a really fantastic way to end. And I hope that something like a podcast can at least increase the visibility of the work that technicians do. But what I'd like to say to end, really, Pam, is thank you very much for being on the podcast.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity and the opportunity to be able to speak about the technical career, the technical role. I think it's such a great role, actually, a great career to be able to be in the lab, to experience all these different roles within on the same day, basically, and have the interaction with students the way that we have, and to learn so much from it. I think if more people could follow the technical career, they would be able to see how great it is. And yeah, I strongly recommend.
Amazing. Thank you again.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you.